Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Joseph Fenty, and I'm your associate for this service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Charlotte County. We are a Big Tent fellowship where diverse people can gather in community and pursue social justice. Oh, okay. Thanks. We begin our service each week by singing an invitation to gather together, even as we are scattered in many different places. This service is being broadcast live on YouTube and will be available as a recording on the UUFCC YouTube channel after the service. I'd like to remind you of a few simple procedures. Now would be a good time to put your cell phones in worship mode. And for those of you who are with us virtually, you may wish to have a chalice or a candle available for our chalice lighting ritual. So my gratitude for those who make the service possible, the grounds people, the tech people, the membership committee, and Mary Jane and Sandy. So whatever your faith or the country of your heritage, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. And whether you entered on little feet or walked in briskly or ambled or rolled in, you are welcome here. Whether you are relatively new to our community or have been an active member for decades, you are welcome here. We are glad you have chosen this congregation as your place of renewal and connection. If you are new here or returning from a long time away, please stand in body or spirit or wave and state your first name and where you're from so that we may welcome you. If you have not already, please take the opportunity to meet with one of our membership teams. So those of you that are new or visiting or been away a long time, yes.
Good morning, all. I'm Dave. I'm visiting today. I will be your speaker. It's nice to meet you, and thank you very much for inviting me.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah. And anyone else want to introduce themselves?
Good morning. My name is Marsha, and this is my first visit. I came by chance with Linda Poindexter, who was coming, and I just jumped in for an adventure, and I'm enjoying it.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for being here. Yes, it's always good to do something new to, refresh the brain. Okay. So if you're new at home and would like to learn more about our fellowship, you can email Mary Jane at office@uufcc.org or visit our website at uufcc.org. So now we will do the chalice lighting. Oh, we can do the prelude? Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on a moment. Welcoming and then the prelude. Thank you. Prelude, please.
We're supposed to sing 360.
Okay. Okay, now we'll do the chalice lighting. So these words are from Julia Corbett, and we say, we light this flame, the bright warmth of belonging, of companionship, of interdependence. We light this flame to remind us we belong to the earth, our sacred home. We light this flame to remind us we belong to human families, biological or chosen, and to the entire human family. We light this flame to celebrate this community, here gathered, to which we belong, which claims our loyalty and affection. We light this flame to call to mind the transcendent, the holy, known by many names and by none, to which we also belong, which holds and sustains us. We light this flame in the affirmation of the responsibility we share to make our communities ones where we all belong. And now Lynn will light our chalice here in the sanctuary. Please join me in reciting our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our aspiration, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. Okay, would you like?
Wade in the water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wade.
and then move the hymn after the opening words.
Pardon?
Do you have one of these?
Yeah. So we're going to do the
Wade in the water.
wade in the water. Let's do it. Yeah. And would you like to do the song "Wake Now My Senses"? Okay, good. That's number 298.
Feel the deep
opening words. These words are from a very special person whose statements ordinarily would not be controversial, but they were at the time. And it's the voice of the next generation. It's the voice of the Z generation. So this is a little excerpt from Greta Thunberg's speech at the UN. How many of you are familiar with her? Raise your hand. Very good. And she gave this speech to the UN September 23rd, 2019. And she was speaking to world leaders. So I believe she was about 16 years at the time. You should know that she has Asperger's. So she's on the spectrum of autism, which has given her a fearless disposition, which I think this is the time for that kind of disposition. So here it is. This is all wrong. I should not be here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I am one of the lucky ones. People are suffering, people are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look the other way and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight. You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and I refuse to believe. The popular idea of cutting our emissions in half in 10 years only gives us a 50% chance of staying below 1.5 degrees, and the risk of setting up irreversible chain reactions beyond human control. 50% may be acceptable to you, but those numbers do not include tipping points, most feedback loops, additional warming, hidden by toxic air pollution, and other aspects of equity and climate change. You are failing us, but young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you, and if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you. We will not let you get away with this. Right here, right now is where we draw the line. The world is waking up, and change is coming, whether you like it or not. The powerful words, powerful words. So remember that fire and tenacity when you speak to your political leaders. Okay, so next we will do the Book of Life, followed by an anthem. So we have a strong tradition at UUFCC of sharing our joys and sorrows and life milestones by entering them into the Book of Life. These messages can be written in the Book of Life at the back of the sanctuary. So for those at home, you can email your entries to Book of Life at uufcc.org. Let's see if there are any entries today. Oh, we do have an entry. Okay. This is today's August 13th. Next Saturday, August 19th, our guest family moves into their new home. We are excited to be part of their next phase of their journey. They need many things, including a love seat bunk beds or 2 twin beds, a printer, a laptop, computer, dishes, glasses, dish towels. Contact Tricia if you can help. There is a list outside the bulletin board. So wonderful to be back among my UU family. Thank you so much for your support. Lori. Okay. And as an unnamed item here, we were approved for Hurricane Grant. Anyone want to elaborate? Yes.
So we got our My Safe Florida Home Grant, which for those of you that have a home that was built before 2008, that's worth under 700,000 insurance value, which that's getting hard to find. The state of Florida has a grant program for wind zones like this area. We're in Ellington, but for every $1 that you spend, the state of Florida gives you up to $10,000 to do hurricane remediation to your home, whether that's impact windows, roof bracing, new garage door that's hurricane resistant, to try to lessen damage should a hurricane come through. And you can apply online for that grant.
Okay, thank you. So next we will have the anthem. Okay. So next we will do the meditation. But first, thank you for the entries into this book of life. So let's take this time to think about the things that were not entered in the book or things that you may be dealing with in your life, and let's just have a short time of meditation. Maybe hold one another in love and tenderness so that this fellowship may be a source of strength and comfort, courage and hope in the days and weeks ahead. So you might just position yourself so you're comfortable. Take in a few breaths, feel the air pass your nose in and out, and then just take a few moments to center yourself. Okay, thank you. We do have one more entry in the Book of Life. This is from Janet M. Good news, the results of my tests were negative for Parkinson's. Now to find the cause of my symptoms and the best treatment plan. Thank you for your cards, your encouragement, your support has meant the world to me. Thank you. So next we'll move on to our talk for today. David Schultz currently is the science officer for the Charlotte County Democratic Environmental Caucus. He's also the Charlotte County Soil and Water Board of Supervisors, seat number 4, and the co-founder and treasurer of Heal Our Harbor. He has an extensive scientific background, and he has performed field and library work in ecology, limnology, zoology, and has been in science education for decades. So let's hear from David.
I forgot my papers. The meditation was so good. I don't understand. I've spent the last 3 decades competing against cell phones in the classroom. And you have to be so dynamic, and you have to be so loud, and you have to run around like a lunatic. Or you lose them. And Joe just got me so relaxed. I'd like to thank you very much for having me here today. There's a power button on here somewhere. Here we go. And we're green. Okay. Sound check. We good? You can hear me? All right. Okay, terrific. Thank you very much for having me here today. I'll step back a little bit. I don't want to overmodulate the microphone. As you can see, I'm a lifelong science nerd. It's what I do. It's what I've been drawn to my whole life. I really have to thank my mom and my stepdad. When they got married, we moved to a dairy farm in central New York. And I learned a tremendous amount. And the most important thing I learned was, I want to go to college. This is terrible. There is nothing like the farming life. You have to respect farmers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Doesn't matter if it's your birthday or not. You got to juice the jerseys twice a day or they die. It taught me a lot about responsibility. So I decided to go to school, and I went on, and we didn't have a lot of money. Imagine that, farmers that aren't rich. And so I was lucky enough to be good at school. I got a scholarship to Cornell, and I was a work-study kid because there wasn't enough money. It was very expensive. So the job I got was working in a lab, initially, just washing glassware for a professor. And I got talking with this guy, and I took his course the next semester, and I continued to work for him throughout my career there. His name was Gene Likens. Raise your hand if you've ever heard the term acid rain. He coined that term. The original paper on acid rain eutrophication in the Adirondacks from the 70s, that was the lab that I was working in. If you read the paper, you look it up, I'm actually mentioned there in Latin. It's called et al., which means and others, okay? That was my credit for that. But if you've realized, we don't hear a lot about acid rain anymore because that's a problem that has been solved. I'm about to talk about a different problem that has to be attacked, but we can do this, so please don't go away dejected and downhearted. We can do this. Humans have done things like this before. So let's move on. Maybe. Okay, next slide. All right, Charlotte Harbor estuary is tremendous. It covers a whole lot of the county. It's very important to us. How many of you people are here because you want to or would like to live on the water? That's pretty much why we're here. The water is what brings us here. 80% of the population lives within a couple of miles of the coast. Next slide. Okay, was that you or is that me?
That was me.
Okay, oh, I got it back again. All right, we can see the area. All of that area has water underneath it. What we don't realize is that there's an active aquifer under all of our soil running out towards the harbor. And we are united with the counties to the north of us and with the counties to the south of us because the water flows back and forth. Water doesn't understand political boundaries. Okay, so how is the land used in this county? The majority of it is open water. Very little of it is actually developed. We have a small amount of agriculture. Majority of our land is wetlands. Wetlands, it turns out, are very important for reducing storm surge, for cleaning the water, and is nurseries for species when they're developing. Okay, a little bit about the ecology, a little bit about how science works. Most people don't understand how important the water is because they really don't understand science. And I don't mean to insult anyone. It's very complex. I've spent my life studying it, and the thing that I've realized, the more I learn, the less I actually know. Okay, I was at a class just yesterday learning about horseshoe crabs. And I've been doing this since I was 17. That's just the way it is. So we have what's called a food web. There are organisms that receive the energy from the sun, and they convert that energy into a usable form by other organisms. These are called producers. They're plants. Algae is a single-celled water plant. Okay, that's the beginning of our ecosystem in our aquatic area. It's these plants that are underneath the water. They feed the small organisms feed the larger organisms. And when we leave it alone, everything finds a balance and it works very well. Another slide of very much the same thing. I'm going to talk about the grasses in a little while because they're really, really important, we've learned. Okay, this is a slide about the seagrass, and we can see the pollution progression with our seagrass. It starts out with just a few plants in a healthy habitat. Those plants spread out by rhizomes, runners underneath the sand, and this is the optimal seagrass growth for our harbor. What's happening now? Well, we've put too much pollution into the harbor. The pollution causes algae to grow on the surface, and that algae blocks out the sun, just like if you put a tarp on your front lawn. You would not be surprised to see that the grass underneath died, but I don't know why so many people are surprised to hear that there's no seagrass growing on the east wall of the harbor. Due to all of the pollution and all of the algae that grows there, we're just not getting enough sunlight. Next slide, please. Intermittent. Okay. The seagrass is fuzzy. Those organisms are called epiphytes, and they further degrade the seagrass in our harbor. Next slide, please. This is my team and I. Well, I'm actually not in the picture because I'm taking the picture. We go out twice a year with the guidance of the University of Florida, and we do a seagrass survey. We measure very scientifically how much seagrass there is. We go to the same spots each year. We look for improvements or degradation. It's done with a transect that we lay out. We spend the day doing it, and you can see a healthy seagrass bed that we have on the north side of the west wall looks like this, but a lot of our harbor looks like this. And it's virtually a desert. Nothing can live there. Okay, let's see if this will roll. So after the hurricane, this is what we found. Okay, so what happened with Hurricane Ian? It came roaring right up the coast and right up our harbor. What did that cause? It caused tremendous amounts of water. We had storm surge, we had rain, and that caused the water level to rise very rapidly. And what that does, basically, it's like flushing a toilet. All of the pollutants and everything that was on the land when we get a storm like that rushes right out into the harbor. And we can see from this satellite photo the plumes of all of the nutrients that came out of the harbor and out into the Gulf of Mexico here. What did that do? It caused a tremendous explosion in the population of red tide, as we can see here. And so as a response, we decided to try and take measurements, try and make people aware, try and bring this to the attention of the county, of the higher ups. We do that by collecting water samples. Let's see if this will run. Come on, Matt, talk to me.
For a free one-day only, wait hurricane prep
everybody in Gila Harbor. We're a small grassroots organization, and we're just getting started. And we're looking for more people. We're looking for help if you're interested. Any skill set. We go and we give talks in DeSoto County. I don't know if you're familiar. They're north of us here. All of the water from DeSoto County runs down into Charlotte County. Mosaic has invested millions of dollars in trying to convert a couple of 100,000 acres of agricultural land into mining land. And they will then store dangerous radioactive material on this land in perpetuity. One of their tricks is to set up these gyp stacks, roll it into a shadow corporation, and then have that shadow corporation go bankrupt and leave the people of Florida to deal with it. This has been repeated for generations now. We want to try to avoid that. So we go up and we give testimony to the commissioners, try and fill them in on the science. We work with young people, had a class of students from Charlotte High come out and work with us at one of our water testings, train the students, have a couple of student interns that work with us. This is throwing off my timing. Come on. Let's go next slide, please. This is a video clip. I'm probably running long. Joe? How's my- Okay. Okay. As Joe said earlier, the young people are our future. They have the energy, they have the drive, and they know they're going to be here for a long time. We're not going to be here that much longer, and we have a responsibility to future generations. What is it they say? We did not inherit the planet from our parents. We are custodians of it for our children. That's our responsibility. That's our legacy. If you're interested, most of our stuff is up on my Facebook page, Gila Harbor at Facebook. You can check out what we're doing. We invite the public out for our water testing, for our seagrass testing. We'll be going out in a little while for horseshoe crab testing. You know, it's always a lot of fun. And I think, oh, this is the last clip. This is from last week. Anybody see us on the news on Monday? Okay, those are my prepared remarks for today. More than happy to answer questions as long as patience will allow. Yes, all the way in
What kind of interest has Sunseeker Resort Company expressed in the healing of the harbor?
I haven't heard from them. I did reach out, I guess, about a year ago. They didn't have local personnel in place. So I really haven't had any significant communication with them.
I have a question that goes right along with that.
Yes?
With dredging the harbor like they did, doesn't that disrupt everything that's going on? I mean, that's part of the system of the harbor.
One of the things that we've learned is that when we do the dredging and we disturb the sediment, it takes years for that to reestablish itself.
And they did it deep.
Yes, yes. I don't want to get political, but the permits are much too easy to obtain for things like that because the science is not fully understood. I mean, I've talked with some of our commissioners. They're not unintelligent people. They're bright people, and their intentions are good. They want to do what's right for the population, but they just don't understand.
They didn't stop it when they had a chance to.
That's an unfortunate consequence of building codes and things like that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. Obviously, he's a right-wing guy. He said that the reefs are dying because of solar flares.
You guys remember when cigarettes were healthy? Do you? Now, why were all those ads that 9 out of 10 doctors recommend cigarettes? I even have an ad that recommends cigarette smoking to pregnant women. Okay? Why? Because R.J.R. Reynolds knew that cigarettes were dangerous, and so on the front end, they put out oppositional research. They paid scientists very well to produce the research that they wanted, and that's how we ended up with that. And so for the next 50 years, the public was fooled. Okay, well, right now the public is being fooled by oppositional research that says that this is unimportant, this is not critical, this is not happening. Like Greta said, we're in the middle of a mass extinction event. 49% of our bird species are in danger of extinction right now. Okay, bees are dying off. If the bees die, guess who dies next? We do. Without pollinators, there is no food. We don't have the technology to produce it. So, yeah, there's a lot of oppositional research. There's a lot of people that say things like that. But the problem is pollution. Okay, too many people, too many toilets flushing, too many septic tanks, and if you notice, our roads, the water runs off our roads down culverts and right into the harbor. There's no storage ponds, there's no settling areas. All of these advanced systems, they've been around in other states for decades. And we need to put pressure on the politicians until it becomes elected or not elected, until it's important enough for them to come out and say, this is what I got to do to get elected. It's not going to happen.
Thank you. Thank you, David. We appreciate your presentation.
Thank you. Thanks. Sorry about the technology issues, folks.
Okay, so next we will have some music. It's 100 in the Gray Hymnal.
I
In our tradition, congregations exist because of the generous support of members and friends. It is our privilege and responsibility to ensure the health and future of this fellowship. To this end, your offerings support the ministry of this fellowship, whether by pledge or donation, may be offered online. There are several ways to give. You can drop your donation in the baskets that are going to be passed around by the greeters. And for those of you at home, you can send checks to the office or use Venmo. If you're using Venmo, make sure that you type in UUFCC offering. Your generosity is appreciated. Yeah, there's going to be a second helping after the first helping. So the second helping goes to Heal Our Harbor, David Schultz's group. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support today as well. So now is the time to highlight the UUFCC special events and activities. Remember to check the UUFCC updates that appear in your inbox. So first of all, we have the Summer Social Group Luncheon. That's going to occur on Wednesday, August 16th. And that's going to be at Nan's Thai Noodle. And the NACP chapter is going to have a meeting. The August meeting of the local NAACP chapter will be on August 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. The Social Justice Committee will have a meeting today as well, I think at noon today on the porch. And we've got a special announcement today about some phone bank activity. Marvin will give us a brief talk about that.
For those that don't know, we've been working in August phone banking. There's still some time in August. We have a list that we're trying to work through. Hopefully everyone knows that if you're voting by mail, you were knocked off the rolls December 31st. So everyone that wants to vote by mail, we're trying to notify from a list. One of the guys made 50 calls Friday. We had a group of 10 or 15 meet in a gated community and kind of kick this off. I've been working the last 2 weeks phone banking, and I could appreciate everyone in the group would appreciate more help. If you can, it's pretty easy to make 20 calls. If it comes up on your computer screen and you make the call and you go to the next call. So, if you can give an hour a week, you could help us. See me after the meeting and I'll give you a phone number. The gal's in Michigan right now, but we can get you in the band system and you can have it right on your computer. Thank you.
So just a few closing words for today. So beyond the scientific and ecological rationale that supports the cause of clean harbors and clean air, unpolluted water, and so I firmly believe that safeguarding these vital waterways is nothing less than a moral imperative that speaks to the very core of our humanity. Rivers and estuaries are not merely geographical features, they are the lifeblood of our community. Nurturing the lands through which they flow and providing sustenance to countless species, they have been revered by cultures around the world, symbolizing renewal, connectedness, and the unbreakable cycle of life. As stewards of this planet, if you will, it is our responsibility to ensure that these invaluable gifts from nature remain thriving for generations to come. Next, we'll extinguish the chalice. Thank you. So let's say the words that are in our program. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of hope, the fire of commitment, or the warmth of community. May those ideals shine in our lives and warm our hearts until we are together again. Go now in peace. Our closing music will be number 323 in the gray hymnal, Break Not the Circle.